Hi, everybody. My name is Kat Simpson, and you are here at Top Rated Seller Webinars. We are so glad that you have made the time to come and spend your busy day with us. Again, this is Top Rated Seller Webinars, and we welcome you. This is July 31st, the last day of July in 2013, and we are so glad you're spending time with us. Just a little housekeeping will get out of your face, I promise. Don't worry if you have to miss a part of the webinar or you can't hear or something's wrong. We will be recording this, and we'll put up a recording on the Top Rated Seller Webinar YouTube channel as soon as we can. The presentation slides will also be available. Our new website is at pagemage.com/top rated seller webinars, and you can find all of our presentation slides and information there. Audio can sometimes be a problem. We recommend you shut down every application your computer uses except GoToWebinar to maximize your bandwidth. And if you still are having trouble hearing, the best solution we can offer is call in. There's always a phone number and a PIN over there on the right. We'd love to have you stay connected with us because we have lots of good webinars coming up through the end of 2013, and we've actually started looking into 2014 for your education. You can find us again at our website, and we also have a very active Facebook page, so come look at us there. Make sure you sign up for our newsletter at pagemage.com, Top Rated Seller Webinars, so we can stay in touch. Our Facebook group is over 964 now. I think we're up over 1,000 or pretty close to it, so come join us there on Facebook. Great discussions there. We'd love to introduce you to our next webinar, which is called How to Speak Your Customer's Language, which is how to develop your niche and market to those people. This will be presented by Danny Ackerman from the Danny app. Make sure you sign up now. Again, pagemage.com/top rated seller webinars. And it's time to tell you about our connectors. There's me up there on the left. That's that Kat Simpson, and Karen Locker of Solutions for E-commerce. Top Rated Seller Webinars are brought to you by our sponsors, and these are our sponsors. eBay Radio, where you've got the griff. Great education. Check out ebayradio.com. And Cabbage. Need a little cash for your business? Check out cabbage.com. Get approved and get money in minutes. Our other sponsors include Outright. Outright.com puts all your accounting on autopilot. There's a free version. Check it out in the eBay App Center or at Outright.com. And Terapeak, because Terapeakers make more money on every sale. Check out the new Terapeak for Amazon and eBay at Terapeak.com. Our sponsors also include PageMage, who just launched a brand new application called Social Beacon. Are you not in on the beta test? You should be. Check out socialbeacon.com and sign up now. I think we have less than 100 spots left in that beta test, so check it out. We're also sponsored by the wonderful Stamps.com. And if you've had to spend time in a post office lately, you're not using Stamps.com. Check it out. There's a free version just for eBay sellers. Social Beacon, again from our sponsor PageMage. Social selling for marketplace sellers. This is going to change the game. I'm telling you, this is a big game changer. I'm excited to introduce you to Social Beacon. If you haven't heard about it yet, sign up now. We're still recruiting beta testers at socialbeacon.com. And now I get to turn it over to Sandy and let her say a few words. Hi, Sandy. How you doing today?
I am doing so well. Thank you for asking, Kat, and I hope all of our listeners out there are having an amazing day too.
I think they are. They're all excited.
All right. Well, let's get started. If anyone wants to tweet along and share some juicy tidbits from this presentation, hashtag for today's event is going to be TRS Webinar, so you can go ahead and use that. I'll tell you what we're going to be doing today. We're going to do a overview of your social media marketing options. We're going to describe the content marketing approach. We'll talk about the difference between a Pinterest business account and a Pinterest personal account. We're going to take a peek at the new look Pinterest has rolled out in the last couple of months. We'll talk about group pins. I'm going to share some of my ninja tricks with you on Pinterest. We'll have a short discussion on how to track Pinterest success and use analytics. And we're going to close it out, making sure everybody stays nice and legal. Now this is going to be a more advanced webinar than we did last November. If you need a lot of basic building blocks for Pinterest, I do recommend you go back and watch that November webinar. And the link is here. And when you get the slides, it should be a hot link you can click right through. So let's take a look at the overview of the different social media marketing options. Let me just start by saying it is absolutely overwhelming. There are so many different places to engage in social media. Even sites such as Etsy and eBay, which are historically marketplaces, have become more social recently. And you have the social in-person hybrid of meetup.com. These are just some of the most popular sites in the US. If I were to put up a list of all the social media sites, it would run into the thousands, and it's not possible for solopreneurs like us to stay on all of those. So just pick a couple few key ones. Today we'll focus on how to use Pinterest. But I do want to give you some insight on how you can go ahead and make your choice. So the three most popular ones in the United States are Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Facebook is not only popular in the US, it is the #1 most visited site in the entire world. 67% of all internet users are on Facebook. This is over 1 billion active members. So if you want to be where the people are, this is where the people are. Facebook also has the highest social media presence for people who are over 65 years old. So if you want, and that's about 35%, if I remember correctly, 35% of people over 65 that use the internet are on Facebook. So if you have products that you want to target to a more senior demographic, Facebook is definitely where you should be. Twitter is popular with the younger crowd. It's popular with the millennials. These are people maybe between the ages of 18 to, it's a fuzzy timeline. There's no clear timeline. Everyone has a different answer. Say maybe 18 to 29, 18 to 25, something in that range. And that represents 16% of all internet users surveyed. And Pinterest is especially popular with women, adults under the age of 50, and people who have some college education. And in the United States especially, which is this survey data comes from Pew Internet Survey, which was done in late 2012 and published in February of this year. 5% of all men on the internet at that time were using Pinterest, and 25% of all women. And the sampling was done of people in the United States. There's another drastic reason to use Pinterest, and I'm going to show you that here. So on the left you have the three most popular e-commerce channels for independent sellers. You have eBay, Etsy, and Amazon. And what you're looking at is the data is from Alexa.com. Estimated percentage of people who visit those sites who are passing through search engines. So this means they went to Google first and then they came through to the site, for example. And as you can see, eBay has about 11% of their traffic from search engines. Etsy is over 12%, almost 13%. Amazon's way down there at 3%, and a big reason Amazon's traffic, there's two reasons their traffic is so much lower from search engines. The first reason is Amazon does not like to pay for placement. They like to rely on organic search. eBay and Etsy, part of your fees you're paying to them is to get fed out to the search engines and to show up in search results that are both organic and not organic. And then you come over to the social media sites. So at Facebook, you've got about 5% of the traffic comes from search engines. Twitter, about 4.5%. And Pinterest is 7.5% of the traffic comes from search engines. So if you want to be found, let's say you sell on eBay, if you want to be found, obviously eBay is going to do their part, and then doing your own social media marketing can push your traffic even higher. And Pinterest I'm highlighting here because of the three most popular search engines, social media channels in the US, Pinterest is the most popular to feed through search engines. So your traffic is going to be that much higher. And I recently pulled my own data from Omniture, which is eBay's service that gives you traffic reports. And I found that for June of this year, 7.4% of my traffic came from search engines. Another 7% of my traffic came from my social media marketing. So I had a 7% market those are people who wouldn't have found me otherwise if I just left it to eBay or Etsy, and that's a pretty significant number. One other reason Pinterest is a really great place to do your social media marketing is that Pinterest users have the highest buying power index behind LinkedIn users. And I've shared this data in my last presentation back in November because it's so powerful. Now, LinkedIn users, when they're shopping online, these are the guys who are buying Porsches on eBay Motors. These are not your typical e-commerce shoppers. They're people with extremely high disposable incomes generally on LinkedIn. But then the next highest is Pinterest. So there's 63% higher average income above the average internet user. So not only do you have a very targeted demographic of women who are under the age of 50, there are also people who have money to spend and who do spend money online. And my suggestion for using Pinterest for marketing is to use what I call the, well, not just what I call, but a lot of people call the content marketing approach. So what is content marketing? Content marketing, very simply, is sharing ideas and resources with your customers on a regular basis. Sometimes this is referred to as the 80-20 rule. So when you share information over your social media business channels, you want to share about 80% of the content is things that would be of interest to your followers where you're not promoting products. And then about 20% of what you share should be, hey, look, I sell this, I have a sale going on, buy my stuff, isn't this cool? In doing this, you build trust with your audience and they respect you more, and also have more things to draw them in and stay engaged with. When you do content marketing, you want to stay true to your brand, and you only want to add content that's going to be useful for your followers. So while recipes are incredibly highly shared on Pinterest, if what you sell is rebuilt motorcycle parts, recipes are probably not a good fit, so that would be kind of an awkward place to bring in traffic. However, sharing content on maybe how to keep your engine running clean and articles on maintenance for your motorcycle, that would definitely be of interest. So I want to get everyone engaged, and let's see if we can come up with some ideas. So one of the more popular categories on eBay amongst the sellers that I know, there's been a lot of trend to start selling plush. Plush is stuffed animals, teddy bears, things along those lines. So I want everyone to answer in the comment box. If you were selling plush, what kind of content could you share with your audience on your social media channels that they might be interested in? So let's start getting some ideas flowing.
Oh,
Can you help us out with this?
Yeah, Melinda also jumps in and says, what characters are the most popular? So maybe a poll or a contest or an article about popular plush animals, how to clean plush animals from Bing. Toys would be a keyword. Cleaning plush, that's a popular idea. Lots of people how to clean it. That's a great idea. Just so I don't kill everybody, I throw mine in the washing machine, but whatever. The history of certain types of animals, safety considerations, Disney collection information. Oh, the audience is really getting into this. Content marketing, they're all into it. History of the makers, keeping toys organized, how to display them. What plush brings you back to your childhood? No, this is not Deborah. Since you mentioned plush, they think maybe you're Deborah Conrad. This is actually Sandy Garcia, Social Sandy, talking about plush. Okay, lots of great ideas here. I think they're really getting into your content marketing.
Oh, great. And I'll tell you an idea that I shared with a great eBay seller and pinner named Rhonda. She sells a lot of plush, and I suggested she sells Care Bears as one of the categories she finds a lot of. So we found on YouTube licensed content for the old Care Bear cartoons. So she created a board full of Care Bear videos. So there's lots of creative ways. Don't forget about YouTube and bringing videos into it. I love some of those ideas.
That video. That's great.
Yeah.
Especially, I know that one of my friends has a grandson who does all of her videos with all the plush animals that make noises. So if you have them, especially that talk or that move, the video is really important. So that's cool.
And this is just to show you a sample Pinterest setup. This is how I use content marketing for my Office Threads brand. Office Threads is my eBay store, and I sell women's career clothing that's gently used. So as you can see across the top, I have a few boards of items that are available for sale, but everything below that, I have 60 boards right now. I have 5 boards about my brand, and the rest of the boards, the other 40 boards, are crossover items. So I have how to maximize your wardrobe, career ideas, how to stay stylish and beat the weather. Now I do have a recipe board. It's a little bit further down. I was a little bit clever here because I know recipes are highly shared, but I needed an organic way to cross it over. So what I did is called it Quickie Cuisine, and it's recipes that you can make in 20 to 30 minutes when you get home at the end of a long day, because business women need to eat dinner too. So that was one idea that I had.
That is a brilliant idea. So you took a topic that's highly shared on Pinterest because you knew that from your research and found a way to move it into your business, Sandy?
Exactly.
You're brilliant.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. um, Now, finding content can sometimes be a challenge. So these are 2 easy ways to make sure you always have ready content available. The first is for your business page on Pinterest or Facebook or whichever social media channel you're using. Go ahead and follow brands and businesses and bloggers who are sharing the types of ideas that you may want to present to your followers. And the second way you can do it, and that way you can just share right within the channel. And then the second way you can do it is use what are called readers. Google Reader was the most famous. It went offline just last month, which is very sad. But these 2 are also free. You have Feedly.com and TheOldReader.com. I'm personally using TheOldReader.com, which was created to mimic the old Google Reader. And essentially, if you can think of Pinterest for text, this is just a feed of different blogs that you follow and news stories that you follow and different RSS feeds, all organized in one place. You just come in here in the morning, you pick a couple things out of your feed, you send it out to your followers, and then you're done for the day. So it only takes a few minutes. I'm going to touch on the difference between a business account and a personal Pinterest account. Not everybody needs a business account, but if you are planning to operate your business for the long term, you're doing this for the long haul. This is your career. You're done with corporate America. This is your life. You should have a business account. If you ever plan to go off the marketplace where you're selling, so if you're selling on Etsy right now and someday you want your own standalone site, you definitely should set up a business account and start branding right now. If your product line is very different from your personal interests, that's another reason to set up a standalone business account. And I'll give you a personal example. I'm very into food and canning and just very organic food interests. And canning doesn't have a whole lot to do with career women. So I have a separate board. They don't, I mean, they're both a part of me, but they don't answer each other. Business accounts launched last November, and setting up your business, your Pinterest account as a business account will let Pinterest know you're promoting a brand. It helps Pinterest understand the difference between peoples and brands. If you have a standalone website, you can verify your website, and this will give you access to Pinterest analytics inside of Pinterest. And verifying your own website also helps build trust. However, if you are on eBay, Etsy, Amazon, or some other larger website you're feeding content from, you can't verify those websites because you don't own them. So you won't be able to get these extra benefits, but if you ever go to your own site, you'll be able to get these benefits. And Pinterest has a resource for business owners to help them maximize how to use their Pinterest business pages to the best marketing ability. And the links are here. And if you have an existing personal account and want to convert it to a business account, you can just follow this second link. And again, these are going to be hot links in the slides you get later. You can click through later. Okay, Pinterest just changed in about 2 months ago, completely changed the look. So let's go ahead and pop over to Pinterest. And let's go right here. So a couple of things I want you to notice that's different. It used to be over here you would see a lot of activity. You'd see somebody repinned, somebody liked, somebody commented. That has moved over here. So you see this number 9, it means that there's 9 activity updates on my business page. So this is where I go now to see if somebody sent me an invitation to a group board, and also the different activity that I've had. So that's one change. Another change, and let me go over here to my boards. It's easier to create a new board now as soon as this wants to load. My apologies, there we go. There used to be an add button up here, and this still works. You can add a pin, create a board from that button, but you can also create a board right here. So that's an easier way to do it. Another change is, let me go ahead and click into a pin to take a look at this. There used to be an edit button. The edit button has been replaced by this pencil. Another change is if you wanted to repin something, it used to say repin. Now they're using the term pin it to pin whether it's an original pin or a repin. So those are just a couple highlights of the changes. And let me go back over to the presentation.
We got a couple questions. Is this a good time for?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Charlene wants to know, when boards get thousands of pins, do you consider splitting them up?
It does make it easier to manage. It depends. It's not necessary. For example, on my personal Pinterest board, I used to have a recipe board that was called Foodie Me. Now, I was going back in there to find the recipes I wanted to use over and over. It became awkward, so I did split it out. I put dessert recipes on one board, breakfast recipes, for my own sake.
Okay.
But it's not necessary. It's really not necessary. That was just because of how I wanted to access the information for my personal use.
Okay.
Followers don't really need that.
Awesome. All right. Adam wants to know, how does he find out if he has a business or personal account?
Well, if he goes to create a Pinterest business account and says convert, oh dear, sorry about that.
It's okay. Whee!
If it lets him convert, if it lets him go through the process of conversion, then he's personal. If it doesn't let him go through the process of conversion, then he's business.
Okay, fantastic. Shelley wants to know, do you prefer different boards or different accounts if you have different stores? Like if you have a store that sells office threads, but you also have a store that sells jewelry. Would you add a different board or a different account?
Well, see, jewelry would still fit into the office wardrobe. So I don't see any reason to work twice as hard and build a following in 2 places. But if I sold office threads, you know, I sold women's career clothing, and then maybe I sold Tiffany lamps, you know, remade Tiffany lamps. That doesn't really fit with office clothing, so I might need a separate brand for that.
Okay, awesome, great. Melinda wants to know, where do you find and to create a business account in Pinterest, if you want to go over that real quick.
I am so sorry.
I think you're going to have to change that screen. I'm telling you, technology is awesome.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
She wants to know, how do I create a business account? So I think you were showing people where to go to change that. She wants to know again, where do I go to do that?
Yep, it's pinterest.com/business/create.
Okay, great. All right.
Okay.
I think we got them all.
Okay, great. And then a couple other changes. There's no more hashtags in Pinterest. People may still be using them,
Ah.
but they are no longer active. This is a major change, and it's different. And of course, Facebook just added hashtags,
Mm-hmm.
but hashtags are gone, so you don't need to worry about using those in Pinterest. And it used to be they could, if you put a price in a pin, it would drop a banner over the corner with the price in pounds or dollars. That no longer drops over the corner, but it still will add your item to the, so it's still going to add your item to Pinterest's gift catalog. So if people are looking to buy something and they want to search in gifts, it'll still come up, whereas it otherwise wouldn't without the $ or pound sign in the pin description. But you're not going to see that banner anymore. And if you're using Etsy, Amazon, eBay, and pinning directly from there, it's going to pick up what's called a rich pin, which means the price is automatically going to show up, and it's automatically going to get added to that gift catalog. Okay? And I want to talk for a minute about group pins. Now, group pins are pretty cool. Group pin is how you can share a board. It's actually a group board. With other people, and you may share it with one other person. You may share it with 5,000 other people. You generally find each other on Pinterest, and you'll know you have a group board because it's going to be indicated by that little icon in the top right corner of the board. Now, my friend Julie has done a tremendous job of growing her Pinterest brand. As you can see, she's got over 18,000 followers, and she's done this by really effectively, first of all, just pinning brilliant content, but secondly, she's done it by using group boards. Now, I want you to see at the top, these are all her personal boards. The group boards are all below her personal boards. And here's some of her group boards. You can see they all have the little logo. Boards is, so if you have 500 followers and you share a board with someone who has 500 followers, whenever you pin, it goes out to 1,000 people. So you can reach a wider audience using group boards. A couple of concerns: you do want to make sure the person that you're following has a good reputation on Pinterest. The person you're adding to your group board has a good reputation on Pinterest. So take a look at their other boards and see what their activity is like. And also you want to make sure anything they pin is going to honor and respect the brand that you're trying to convey. So just a couple of things to be careful of if you do invite people to group boards. And do we have any other questions at this point?
Oh, do we have questions? This is usually Karen, so excuse me if I'm a little bit rough, but she's having computer issues right now. Charlene says she got an email.
No, I'm not.
Oh, good, you can talk. Yay. Well, earlier I couldn't hear you.
I've been here.
Oh, well, you've been here, but we couldn't hear you
I was
earlier.
muted. Because I was muted, and that's why.
Oh, okay. Well, Karen's here, so I'll let her take over.
All right, so here we go. Whoops, now I just lost it. Okay, Shar got an email. This is from Shar. She got an email the other day talking about, we recently launched a new type of pin that includes details like pricing, availability, and where to buy. So what is, do you know, have any idea what that's all about?
That's the rich pin that I just described. Maybe I should just show a quick example. Let's see if I can do this fairly seamlessly. So for example, this is an item I've got from eBay. And of course, this one isn't showing me the rich pin. Bear with me just a second, I'll find one that does. And this one's not showing either. Well, what it is in this area right here, it would have the little eBay logo. It would show the price, and it would say in stock. So that's a rich pin, and that's going to automatically, when you pin from eBay is, or Etsy or Amazon, they're feeding that content to Pinterest, so you don't have to do anything. The price is automatically going to show up.
Cool. All right. The next question is, where do they find the gift catalog?
Sure.
That's from Patricia.
Go right back to Pinterest. Let's go here. So you go, okay, so up here next to the search, you see this drop down, and you can choose categories. And It's in here somewhere. They may have changed the name again. Pinterest loves to change the
Under
name of their
everything.
things.
It's on
There it
the
is,
far.
under
There you go.
everything. So this is everything that comes here will have a price. So here's a set of strollers, for example. Oop. Sorry, I'm having trouble scrolling down. There we go. So you see here, this is what the rich pin looks like. It's the name, the title of the item, the in stock, and the price, and then the store that it's available from. So that's what that rich pin is that she got the email about.
Cool. So that showing that slide.
Okay, I get to
Kill two
talk
birds with one
again.
stone.
I get to talk again because Charlene, the email she got is similar to what I got. Sandy, it's a little bit different than the rich pins. The email referred to them as personal pins with more information. So is this something brand new? It just came out yesterday. And she sends the email in again, and it said, here, we're posting more pins with personal information. I think if Karen can find it, she can read the whole email. Charlene sent it all in again. Hi there.
Pinterest loves
Yeah.
to change things the day before I give webinars.
It says we
Yeah, it does.
recently launched a new type of pin that includes details like pricing, availability, and where to buy. This link info updates automatically if anything changes and makes it easier for pinners to decide which of your products are for them. With back to school and holiday shopping seasons around the corner, now is a great time to activate product pins. You can get everything you need to turn them on from our developer site. There you go.
Those are the rich pins. They're describing the rich pins.
Okay, good job. Pinterest, confuse us all.
But you know what is different in that is it did not used to automatically update the price if you made a change to the price, and it sounds like now that's fixed.
I remember that because
Cool.
you did a test on that, and we found out it didn't. So I'll go back to my corner now.
Okay.
You're good. We actually have a couple more questions that fit with what you're talking about. One of the things you were talking about is having a pin for a business and multiple accounts. So this person has a variety store.
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to decide if she should have a single Pinterest account or multiple accounts. They sell books, flatware, everything.
I would do one central account because it's managing one or two, maybe three Pinterest accounts is manageable. But if you've got everything under the sun, that is your brand. And I would just have a theme board for each of the different items that you sell.
Perfect. Would you delete a pin that sells out and then repin when it is back in stock? And how's the best way to handle that?
Actually, I don't delete pins because once they start spreading, it's sharing the love of my store and my links all over the internet. But what I do is I may move it to a sold board, and I will put the word sold in comments. So that way, if it ever comes back in stock, I just move it back to the board I want it to live on, and I delete the comment that says sold.
Okay. This is from Louise. Is it possible to arrange pins within a board? She knows that we can rearrange boards.
Nope. Well, the only way to arrange it is to pin them in a certain order because the boards themselves are chronological. You can't move it around.
All right. And then the last thing we're talking about, the rich pins again, is how do you make sure your pin is a rich pin, and how do you make sure you got into the gift catalog? So they both
if you're
go together,
pinning
I think.
directly from the marketplace, it's a rich pin. You don't have to do a thing. And if it's a rich pin, it's in the catalog.
And as long as it has a price, it's in the catalog, right?
Exactly. Now, if you have so you can also add it by putting a price in there yourself manually. But if you put the price in the comments, it's not going to update. Just be careful about that.
Okay. Two more questions, and then we can get back to where you are.
Okay.
Does Pinterest work as a numbers game, as in the law of averages, to get results?
I'm not sure what they mean by that.
I'm thinking that the more views, the more shares you get, the more likely, if you're using it as a marketing tool, it will sell. Kind of that kind of.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the whole purpose behind social media marketing is to get your brand and your products out there as much as possible to drive as much traffic as you can back to your store.
And the last question, for right now, well, they keep coming in, but we'll go with this
We'll
was
come
the
back to
last one for right
questions a
now.
little bit too.
Exactly. The last one for right now is how would you do the sold board? How would you create a sold Pinterest board?
I can show you mine if that's the easiest way.
Probably.
And let's see. Close that. So it's just right here. As items sell, I just edit the pins, and you edit the pin by clicking on that little pencil, whatever board it's living on, and you just change it here. You just change what board you want it to live on. And I just move it to there. I would save the changes, and then you can come down below the item and add a comment, and like I did here, it says sold. Easy peasy. Does that make sense? Is that good?
Yeah, does to me.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to show you a couple of my Pinterest ninja tricks. So this is the first one. Pinterest will only let you link to your personal Facebook page. It will not let you link to a Facebook business page. So my personal brand, I don't care if people find me personally. I actually don't mind. I encourage it. It makes them see I'm a real person, and it builds trust. But I want them to know I have a business page too. So if you'll see on the bottom left here, the About Us board for my brand, I went ahead and created a pin that was simply the Facebook logo. I uploaded the Facebook logo, created a pin, edited that pin so that it points back to facebook.com/officethreads. So whenever they are on Pinterest now, they can find me on Twitter and Facebook as well. Now the Twitter link at the top goes right to my business page, but I just think the more links the merrier, so I have both in there. And then also note the branding. So when you see About Us Office Threads, the lady sitting on the chair, feet are hanging off, I use the same imagery on Facebook, I use the same imagery on Twitter, and I also have the same imagery over on my Google Plus account. So, and then if you'll notice on Facebook, the top left, I have buttons that point back to Twitter and back to Pinterest as well. So this is a great trick to make sure that everything points back to everything else. If they're following you around, you can maybe pick up followers on other sites as well, on your other channels as well. And remember at the beginning where we talked about how almost 8% of Pinterest traffic comes from search engines? What I'm going to show you now is how to optimize that and get as much search traffic driven to you as possible. And the way you do that is optimizing the text on your pins. So you want to put text on your pins when you pin them. This part of it is not automatic. You have to edit a board to add a description to a board. So this is what this looks like. You want to put keyword heavy, search engine rich terms in there, repeat the words, and this is going to help you get found whether people are searching inside Pinterest or if they're searching on Bing or Google or Yahoo or some of the other search engines. And just bear in mind, you don't want to just keyword dump because it will present at the top of the board when somebody's inside your board. So it does need to be a sentence and it does need to flow nicely. So when you write the descriptions, you're going to want to make sure you use those strong keywords to get them out to search engines, and it also will facilitate the internal Pinterest search. And the #1 question I get as a social media marketing coach after should I bother is how do I know it's working? How do I track my ROI? And that is a $64,000 question. It is tricky. There is no one button you can push that will tell you because you pinned XYZ, XYZ sold from that link. eBay has that data. They do not release it to us. And as far as I know, Amazon and Etsy do not release that data either. But what eBay store owners specifically can do is when you access your traffic reports, take a look at the referring sources. And this is where you're going, and you can have it look for the current month, you can go backwards a month. So you can look at 30 days at a time. And this is how you know if it's working or not. So if you're getting traffic from that social media channel, then it's working. You're bringing people into your store. You may or may not be converting those sales. That's the part we can't really measure. But at least you know if your efforts are bringing them through. Another way to track is to use a third-party service. We've already mentioned socialbeacon.com at the introduction. That's a new product from PageMage that's about to open its beta test. Another site that's open right now is called reachly.com. And they have similar features in that when you use these pass-through sites to do your pinning, it's going to measure for you the repins, the click-throughs, how many likes, and who's commenting. So it'll help you measure the engagement. And if you aren't using a third-party service, you could still kind of look for yourself which pins are repinned, which pins are liked. Just go into your account daily and kind of watch what's happening using that button in the top right corner that shows you activity. One point of note, this is very important, I keep reinforcing it. If you're pinning from a marketplace, which is eBay or Etsy or Amazon, you will not be able to verify your Pinterest account. Therefore, you will not be able to access Pinterest analytics inside the Pinterest business accounts. Now, if you also have a standalone website, then you can monitor that activity, but only for the standalone website. And my last theme for today is going to be keeping it legal. When you pin, you want to have what I like to call pin-integrity. This first thing this means is to respect copyright laws. When you pin something, make sure you're taking it from a source that has the rights to use that pin. So for example, let's say you have Johnny Depp is wearing a particular pair of sunglasses that you want to sell, and you rip it off of you rip it off of somebody else's website, but that person was just maybe a Tumblr blog compiling pictures from all over the internet. Perhaps they didn't have the rights to use that picture in the first place. So you want to make sure you're respecting the copyrights, that you're pinning from people that have the rights to use those images. The other thing you want to do to make sure you stay legal is make sure you read the Pinterest Terms of Service, Pinterest Privacy Policy, the Copyright Policy, and the Acceptable Use Policy. Reading all of these, you're going to lose 40 minutes out of your day. It's not that much text. It's actually very readable for legalese. And if you follow their rules, you should have no problems, and everything should stay perfectly legal. Let's go ahead. Kat, we set up a poll earlier, did we not? Hello?
It's coming.
Okay, can we get that up there?
Yep. Okay, guys, it's up to you now. Check which one are you using.
Is it showing on the screens?
It shows on mine. Everybody, and they're answering. So I think it's working. Wow. Okay. They're voting very well. Thank you, guys.
I'm just curious to see what folks are using right now for their social media marketing efforts.
I think you're going to be very pleased with these numbers. Okay, guys. 50% of you have voted. Where's the other 50? Come on, just a click, just one click. It's all we ask. You can do it. You can do it. All right.
But what if the other 50% aren't using anything, Kat? Then there's nothing to click, does it?
Oh, that's right. It only let me leave 5 answers. So I hope that doesn't mean that the other 50% are not using social media marketing. That would be bad. All right.
Well, they could be like me.
Well, they're up to 60. So you want to end the poll at 60, Sandy?
That sounds good.
All right. Let's see the results. Aha! I knew you'd like that.
I can't see the results. Where should I?
Oh, no. They're not showing? Can everybody else
see them? There they are. I just had to push a little plus. Wow. Okay, so 79% of Facebook users, 54% are on Twitter, 66% are on Pinterest, 2% on Instagram, and 20% on YouTube. Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grab a screenshot of that. I'm going to study that later.
I
That's
thought you'd like that
awesome.
because Facebook's #1 and then Pinterest is right behind. That was very interesting to me.
So let's go ahead and take some more questions at this point. If anyone, um, and I don't want to limit the questions to Pinterest, of course, that's why we're here today, but if you have any related questions about Facebook or Twitter marketing, I'd be open to any of those as well. Have we got some questions coming in?
Oh, there are tons of them. I think Karen's just trying to find them all, figure out where to start. uh,
I can't look at them because they confuse me. I mean, it's distracting, so I
I,
don't even look.
they run so fast. Karen, you good? Oh, she said she lost audio. Okay, so I just want to tell you a funny little comment from Charlene that I thought was fun. You were talking about how you can't really tell if something helps, and Charlene said the ka-ching from your phone 10 minutes after you pin something is a good one. I thought that was awesome. All right. Danny Ackerman says if we put the dollar amount in the description, it no longer has the price pin at the top. She wants to make sure she understands that.
Right, so we talked about this a little bit earlier when we were discussing rich pins. It's still falling into the gift catalog, but it's no longer dropping down as a banner. That was an aesthetic change Pinterest made, and that's the only reason I believe it's an aesthetic change.
Okay.
But you don't need to type your price in at all because the rich pin is doing it for you. And according to an email that just went out, rich pins will automatically update pricing. And if you've typed your text in, it's not going to automatically update.
Okay. I think Karen is back with us. Dana has a question. I have multiple selling sites, eBay, Etsy, Amazon. How can I link, advertise, connect all these links onto my Pinterest info?
Well, one thing you can do is set up an About Me page and have a link to all the different sites you sell on. But as for pinning your items, I would pin the items for whichever site you got the lowest fees. So for example, if I sell on Etsy, I sell a vintage dress on Etsy, and the fees are, if I remember correctly, less than 5% or in that ballpark. Selling that same dress on eBay, it's going to be 10% fee. It makes more sense for me to link it to the Etsy listing than to the eBay listing because it's going to cost me less when it sells.
I like that.
Okay. Can you hear me, Kat?
I hear you. You're good.
Okay, cool. So it's just my headphone speakers that quit on me. I don't know if we asked this one. It was a ways back. This person, Ken, says he can't get a business account because all he has is an eBay store. But he can still get a Pinterest business account. He just can't verify it, correct?
Exactly. He can convert his personal account or open a business account. He just cannot verify it, and he won't have access to the analytics.
Okay. Let's see. Now down to where I was. One of the questions that Shelley had was if you restock a sold item, can you delete the comment? She couldn't find a way to delete a comment.
You can let me show you where that is. It's going to be easier than describing it. So if you want to delete a comment, you have to be on the board overview. And wait, actually, nope, you have to be inside the pin. Sorry. All this clicking. My apologies. Of course, I picked my longest pin to show you. This is one of my little ninja tricks too, is that long pins will definitely pin faster. So when you're inside the pin, you just click here if you want to take a comment out, but you have to be inside the pin. Can everybody see that?
I see that. That looks cool. And you said that was a ninja trick to pin the long pictures?
Yeah, long pictures, because if you're using a long picture, it takes up more real estate. As people scroll back and forth on the board, it's always going to stay in their sight as they go up and down and scroll back and forth. Don't go too long, but if you go maybe just a little bit past the width of the screen, that one probably is a little bit too long. That's a good trick.
Cool.
Cool.
And I do this. I do this in Picasa. It's free software from Google. I just create a collage that's long and skinny, and then I can show the front, the side, and the back of that garment.
So that's an easy way to get all of the views in at once on one pin.
Exactly.
The next question is, how do you add buttons?
Oh, add buttons like these buttons?
I think so.
So what I did is I downloaded from Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest. Let me go back over. I should just stay here. I'll just stay in Pinterest at this point. You go up here to add up. This is where you're going to add anything. Click on that. You want to upload a pin because you're going to take a picture that's living on your website and send it over to Pinterest. So let's choose a file. I'll just go ahead and go through the process, and I can delete this in just a minute. So we want to, you can see my crazy bad organization. So let's say, I don't know, let's say I want to link to my, let's just do Facebook again. Oh, I'll do LinkedIn. Let's say I want to link to LinkedIn. So I just click the file. It goes in my About Us. I write a short description. We're on LinkedIn. Click to follow us there. Then I pin it. It's going to tell me where that other image is also pinned. Whoops. Sorry. Hold on. Okay, so here's that pin. Now I need to edit it because I have to go in and add the website. It doesn't give you a place to put the website in initially. You have to edit the pin to add that in. So then I can just put my personal, which is linkedin.com/ well, we'll just go linkedin.com for a moment, and then I don't remember off the top of my head how to link directly. So when you click here now,
you actually
it's going to take you over to LinkedIn.
You actually
I typed
it
wrong, but you get the idea.
Yeah, we got the idea. That's very cool.
So you would go through that process for Facebook or for Twitter.
Cool. So it's nice to be able to link
back. There you go.
It
takes it right to LinkedIn, and then I'm already logged in. So, right? What else you got, Karen?
Well, I got someone that is asking if you could actually show us how you take an item from your eBay store and pin it on Pinterest.
Sure.
That's why I was glad when you said, I'll just stay in Pinterest. I'm like, that'll work. Because I knew what questions were coming next.
Let's see, what should I pin? It's a cute little office dress. Let's go ahead and pin this. So here's the item. If you want to just do eBay, you're not using a third-party service like Social Beacon, what you do is you can very simply click the little red P, decide what board you want it to go on, put it on featured fashion, super cute, black, shirtwaist, dress for the office, perfect for year-round. And you just pin it, and it's that simple. You want to go to the pin. There it is, and on the right side is kind of a collage summary of the board that it's living on. And it does take 60 to 90 seconds for the rich pin data to pop up, but it will pop up. It will eventually pop up. There it is, see? It's that simple.
There we go. Okay, if you pin from a Tumblr page, how can you tell if they have the rights to the image?
just follow it back to its source. If it's not going back to a source, if it's just sitting there on Tumblr and it doesn't link to anything else, just walk away from it, unless it's a very reputable brand like, you know, J. Crew or Martha Stewart or something like that that owns that Tumblr page. Just don't use it. When in doubt, walk away.
Yeah, it's so hard with so much being copied onto the internet. What's copyrighted, what not, what's Creative Commons.
And I actually just saw an article online a few days ago. A person was using a really poor picture of somewhere in Ohio, if I remember correctly. It was like a little travel page, come visit this town in Ohio. It had less than 100 hits, and yet they used it without permission. They got a letter from an attorney demanding $8,000 in damages. You really want to make sure you are using pins that you have, images you have the rights to use.
Okay, that's a daunting number.
It's expensive.
Is it good to pin an item on your own board and then pin it on someone else's group board too?
Absolutely. I do that all the time. I have a board for men's fashion, which is actually my most viral board, which is pretty cool. There's so little men's content out there, even though there aren't as many men on Pinterest. Maybe it's the women who want to, you know, get their guys to dress better, so they put ideas together. I don't know why, but they're much more they're very viral. So here it is for the gentleman. I have this board. And let's say, you know, I wanted to, let's just find a random pin that I like. All right, so here's information on collars and cuffs and different cuts of men's fashion. I can repin that myself. I'm also a member of a group board for men's clothing, and if I can remember what it's called, that's me. True Gent, that's the group board. And you see here's that little group logo again. So I'll just share it there as well, because this is all style about men's fashion on that group board. This way it goes to my followers directly and to all their followers.
Cool. Let's see. This isn't a question. This was a comment. Unfortunately, Jill has left. Thank you very much. This is one of the most helpful webinars for my store. I learned quite a bit for Pinterest. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Jill. I'll catch you on the replay. Thank you.
What is a good way to title your boards?
So again, you want your titles to be keyword strong, but you also want to have a cutesy name to kind of catch their interest. So here, if the shoe fits, obviously it's a board about shoes, but it doesn't just say shoes. It's just a cute little title. And here's my Quickie Cuisine, so there's another one. That's how I sneak in my food board. Quickie Cuisine, workday dinners, those are very searchable terms for SEO.
Okay. This person says she's new and building her eBay store and Etsy store. Does she just jump in and sign up on Pinterest with a business account?
If she wants to brand it as her business account, yes. I would suggest you do that. It might be, if she's never been on Pinterest before, sometimes it's good to start your own personal board first, your own personal account, to kind of get a feel for it. And then once you have a feel for it, maybe open the business account. But yay, good for her. Congratulations.
Cool.
Welcome to online selling.
Yeah, it's a wild, fun place. Steve was asking again about where he can find more basic information on Pinterest.
I would actually go back to the first webinar that I did and watch that.
And that
the one from November, and the link, the link will be in the slides that everybody gets in just a short while after the webinar. I can navigate to it here quickly, I guess.
Okay.
Let's see.
What do you think about a website on Facebook? Well, you're finding that link.
Here's the link. pagemage.com/education/webinars. And then
The videos are actually on the YouTube channel.
they're also on the YouTube channel. That's true.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here it is, pagemage.com/Pinterest-for-eBay-sellers.
I love that picture.
Okay. I don't know if you heard me with this one. What do you think about a website on Facebook?
I'm not sure I understand the question because
I'm wondering if she's thinking about, setting up, like, how they have some of the apps where you can set up your stores on Facebook?
oh, definitely. Yes, have a pass-through to your eBay or Etsy store. Etsy has a great button for that. Definitely. And if you sell in multiple places, again, connect the store where you get the lowest fees. Woobox has a free tool that can do that. Woobox.com. It's a little complicated to set up, but it can be done. And if you call them, they'll help you with that, and it's free.
Okay. I add lots of items all the time to my eBay store. Is there a way I can add an item? Is there a way when I add an item that I can add it to Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest so it's on them all at once?
Right now, you can use reachly.com, which I think is now connected to all three sites, and socialbeacon.com when it comes online in just, I don't know, less than 4 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, will let you do that as well. That's why the third-party sites are nice, because they save you time.
But if someone adds 100 items in a day, do they want to send them out to all those places all at once?
Oh, no. Actually, you should never add 100 items at once. What you're going to do is flood the feed of your followers. All they're going to see is your stuff, and that's disrespectful to your followers because they have a lot of different brands and a lot of different people they follow. They like a blend of content, and if you're just shoving all of your content down their face, that's disrespectful to them, and you're going to lose followers if you pin that way. I suggest using Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter and if Google Plus if you're over there. Think of it as the window shop. You know, when you're out in New York City and you go past Macy's and they've got their big window displays at Christmas. Think of it as your window display. A few key chosen items, not your entire inventory. Just something tantalizing to lure them into the store.
Thanks, Sandy. I remember when eBay first launched that feed that could send your listed items up to eBay, and I would get thousands of posts on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, no, that was not.
Yeah, always use the content marketing approach, or what they call the 80-20 rule. About 80% of what you post and send out should be useful information that enriches the lives of your followers, and only the other 20% can be, I have something on sale, look at this great item I just got in inventory, buy my stuff. Use a blend.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I use in as example is I probably have 1,000 eBay sellers on my Facebook page, and if each one of them just posts 2, 3, 4 items a day, that's thousands of buy my stuff, and I don't get to talk to them.
Right.
Because it's just buy my stuff. Let's see. You've already explained how to do those links. Are you familiar with Pin League Analytics? They're new, and this is from Ken.
Yes, I am familiar. Pin League gives you a way to measure success. And my friend Julie, who I showed you her board earlier, actually achieved a 100% score on Pin League. I'm so proud of her. She is hot stuff when it comes to Pinterest. She knows what she's doing. It gives you just kind of, you can take the pulse of how well you're doing. So you know if you've got like a 14 on Pinterest, if a 14 score, you're not doing so great. People aren't seeing, people aren't sharing, people aren't liking. If you have 100, you're it. You are the bomb. You're everywhere. People love you. It's for taking the pulse, but you shouldn't micromanage that score.
Okay. This was one of the questions. and maybe you can explain it a little bit better. This person wants to know how to get the Pinterest and Facebook links on our items in eBay and Amazon.
How to get? Oh,
so I think yeah.
Okay, so if you have an item for sale on eBay, do you want to have a link back to your Facebook page or your Pinterest page? You can't. Amazon, as far as Kat, you may be able to answer this better. I don't think you can. The sites won't let you do it. They don't want you taking people off site when they're there shopping.
Exactly.
Yeah,
on
can.
eBay, the About Me page, you could do that. That's about it.
And I did
so
do
you
that
can
online.
go.
Yeah.
And I was going to say you can go from eBay and Amazon to Pinterest or Facebook, but you cannot go the other way.
Right.
You mean the opposite. You mean the opposite.
Yeah.
You can send them from Pinterest to eBay, but you can't send them from eBay to Pinterest.
No, from eBay, because eBay has the buttons,
right,
and Amazon
right.
has the buttons. You can send your stuff to those sites, but you can't send your people to the. You can send your stuff, but not your people.
Right. What you can do is if there's an item you want to share on your own social media networks, whether it's your Pinterest business page or whether it's your personal Facebook feed because you're thinking about buying it and you want your friend's opinion, that's what those buttons are for, to send it to your personal social media feed. You can't put a button in your eBay store that says visit me on Facebook, visit me on Twitter, but you can do what I did here. I pulled up my About Me page where I have these at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Because your About Me page is the only place inside eBay that lets you send people off site. And as far as I know, Etsy doesn't really have an issue one way or another. And Amazon, it's verboten. They're not going to let you send people off site.
Exactly. Okay. This person kind of wants some specific information. She has a jewelry business, and she wants to know what type of boards she should probably create. She's figuring she shouldn't have recipes or travel. But
okay.
what kind of board should she create?
Well, why don't we open this up to people for general idea? Let's brainstorm this one for her. We'll get a lot more ideas. I mean, off the top of my head, how to care for your jewelry, how to store your jewelry, those are the two that I can think of. How to accessorize, how to use jewelry, what's length of a necklace is best for different body types or different blouse styles.
Birthstones.
Yeah, you can talk about birthstones.
How to display your jewelry. These are ideas from the audience, not me.
Okay.
What jewelry goes with what fashion? How to pack your jewelry for traveling. Good ideas, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking if you have jewelry that's from different locations, like turquoise from the Southwest, you could interact that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Too.
Definitely. You could do travel theme boards about where the stones come from.
Okay, next question. Would it be okay to disable comments on a Facebook business page? I want to use Facebook to update new products, but there is potential for custom work that I don't wish to address directly on Facebook. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you can. I don't know that you can turn off comments. I haven't thought about that. But people can send you messages on Facebook business page separate from your from getting comments. Let me show you what that would look like. So up here, I have messages. These are messages people have sent me to my Facebook business page, which is different than, now if somebody posts a comment on my page, let's see, why is this being difficult? I don't think I have it set up. People can't post comments the way I have my business page set up. But they can still send me messages. You know what? That person can send me a follow-up question at sandy.garcia@live.com. Sandy's with an I, and I will maybe if they could send me a more specific to help clarify. I want to make sure I'm answering the right question. I'll follow up with them offline.
Okay. I have read that displaying only images for sale on one's Pinterest page is boring, and that one should mix in some more personal pins, such as pictures of you, of things you like and enjoy, or just some eye-catching pictures to keep people interested. How do you feel about this?
Well, I don't think people should just be pinning links to their items. That would be boring. That's why I recommend the 80-20 approach. 80% of things that you're sharing and ideas from other people, and then 20% your stuff. If your personal brand is all about you and it reflects your everyday life, then it makes sense to not even have a separate standalone business page, have it just be your personal page. But I do think it can get confusing to people that may be following your business page to see pictures of books that you read last month, or to see too much personal information. Like I said earlier, my business account reflects the career side of me personally. My personal page reflects what I'm doing at home on weekends. They're both organically coming from me, but it's more organized. I really do think having a stronger theme, unless the brand is you. So if somebody is maybe selling services on eBay, it would make more sense to have more personal things there. If the brand is you, the person who's going to help them do something. But if it's, for like me selling clothing, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to show them the books I'm reading or show them where I went on vacation. It just doesn't fit. The people who are interested in buying the clothes are not going to be interested in what I read last month.
That makes sense. And I would think if you sell like kids' clothes and have kids, then it might be better that might help intermix, because kids definitely are a draw.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny says she needs to go shop in your store because you have great stuff.
Thank you, Danny. Please do.
Another person is saying that, is there a book you can recommend to help with using Pinterest?
The catch is, I would just actually start watching YouTube videos, do Google searches to read. Marcia Collier has a wonderful book coming out that's social media marketing for eBay sellers, marketplace sellers in general. It covers all of the different sites. I would recommend anything Marcia Collier's written, and she does have a brand new book coming out this fall. But there is not on the market that I have been able to find a quality Pinterest for marketplace selling book. So I would just say start Google searching for blog posts, read Marcia Collier's book, pop on, ask me questions. You've got my contact information. I answer questions all the time. You can post questions on my Facebook page, Social Sandy Facebook page, and I answer the questions there too so everybody can see them. You can tweet me with questions. But there isn't a great book out there yet.
Well, that's why you need to follow Social Sandy, because I think that, she needs to come up with one of those. Sandy, put that on your list, please.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. This is from Adam. He converted his account to a business account, but wants to verify by adding something to my site. I'm not very familiar with coding and all that. What do I do? Where do I do this? And there's a way to verify without adding it to my site.
You have to add to verify, but you can't verify if you only sell on eBay or only on Etsy or only on Amazon. If there should be a Pinterest guide on how to add that code to his own standalone site if he has one. That'll walk him through step by step with instruction. Skip that for right now, and then go back and add it later if he does have a standalone site. Pinterest has great instruction for business owners on how to do that, and I would just take the instruction from them. But you can create a business account without verification. Just skip that step.
Sorry, I was trying to answer a question. A lot of people want to know about your pictures. How you edit and just get the white background. How do you edit them in general? How you make them long again?
Okay, so when I'm selling on, actually here, I actually wrote a blog post about this, which I can show you some images as we're talking. I use different images on Pinterest than I do on Facebook. I'm sorry, than I do on eBay. And this is that blog post. So on eBay, they like the optimal photographs or the clean backgrounds like you see here on the right. That would be optimal for eBay. But on Pinterest, they like a more staged photograph. So this is an example. This is the same dress I'm selling it on eBay, and I had a photographer do a photo shoot. So the photo shoot is what I shared on Pinterest because people like garments in their natural settings. They like to see, like I said, a more staged, polished image. But the whiteout background is ideal for eBay. So to do that, I shot this photograph on a white background, and the dress was on a dress form. And then I used free software called GIMP.org, GIMP.org, and I cropped the dress out. I cut the dress out, and then you can completely make a white background. There are other services out there that can do this. Paint.net is one. You can watch YouTube videos to learn the mechanics, because learning the mechanics of doing this is an hour-long webinar in itself. The tool I use is GIMP.org to get the white background, and then just watch YouTube videos for how to white out background of photos. Just do a Google search and you'll find instruction on how to do that.
Yeah, there's two easy ones that I use too, Bling It and PhotoFuse, because you highlight the item and then it takes everything out of the background for you.
PhotoFuse works great. The catch with PhotoFuse is you're not going to get images over 1,600 pixels on the longest side, which means they will not feed out to Google, or they will be less likely to feed out to Google.
One other option, both Karen and Sandy are very good with these tools. I tried GIMP and gave up in frustration. So if you're not as technologically with photo software, there are a lot of other options. If you take great pictures, you can hire fairly inexpensively people who will delete the backgrounds for you. I just wanted to put that out there.
Cool.
You need to decide, and if you're running your business, and you need to decide if spending the time to learn how to do that is a good return on investment of your time, or if you should say, that's not a skill I have, nor do I want to learn, I'm going to hire it. Just put that out.
And definitely repeatables versus one of a kind, because repeatables, you have it done once, and it's good for you. So yeah, you have to balance that all in.
Time versus money.
Just another thought, you don't always have to pay people. Sometimes you can just trade products in your store. You can do trade. You can trade services.
Barter is a wonderful thing.
That's why they keep using that B word for you, Sandy.
What? Barter?
Brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
And it just came in my head, there's another B word, but they're not using that one. They're using brilliant.
Well,
I've seen brilliant in there 2 or 3 times. So.
This is my very last trick I'll just throw out, because I know we're running long with the Q&A. But the photo I have up on the screen right now. So I work with a photographer out of Los Angeles. Shout out to Lee Sterling Photography. Thank you. He is new to pinup style photography. He used to do photography, then he went and got a real job, so to speak, and now he's trying to get back to his passion. So I send him clothing. He sets up the shoots. He brings in the models. He brings in the makeup artists. He brings in the hair artists, all of whom are also trying to build their portfolios. They do these great day-long photo shoots for me. They put the clothes in the box. They send them back. They email me the pictures. And I have these beautiful, I didn't pay for them. All I do out of a courtesy is I reference them in the listings, and I put the model's name. This model, young lady's name is Paloma Dominguez out of San Diego. I put their names out there so that they're out on the internet. They're building their own credibility themselves.
Wow.
So you don't even always have to pay. You could get a local community college, talk to the instructor in a photography class. Maybe you can get some students to come to get practice. You don't always have to pay for these things. You can always do trade and share ideas.
Thinking outside the box. There's that brilliant word again.
Well, and yeah, because Sandy and I have actually talked about doing some bartering things, because you can do that if you have services or products that will work. Bartering will help. Okay, we have a couple more questions about this. Charlene, I'm not sure how you would handle bartering on your taxes.
We'll have a tax jar expert in to answer that one.
We'll get taxes for you, Charlene. We know you love those. Yeah, I'm not sure how bartering does work on taxes, because there's no money exchange.
Interesting. They can't tax merchant. Well, you never know.
I don't know. All right, this person sells cordless and corded phone systems for businesses. What kind of topics could she use for her 80% content? Just some suggestions.
How to choose, find articles on how to choose the right phone system for your office, how to know what's the right size. Informational articles like that. If they have a phone system, they're going to have other equipment in the office. They'll have copiers. They'll have other things so any kind of information on how to make the right purchase decision for office equipment. Again, I want to throw it out to this great audience. They seem to have a lot of ideas too. That's just one off the top of my head.
Well, we had another person asking if we could, kind of give her some ideas for her boards. And I would, we could stay on here all day and help everybody like that, because it was a brilliant way of doing that, the way you crowdsourced that, and people came up with ideas for the jewelry lady. But I wanted to encourage people to take that idea out with them. We can't get to everybody right here on this webinar. Go to a Facebook group that you're a member of, or a Facebook page where there are a lot of people there, and say, hey, I'm having trouble. What would you think about Pinterest boards for me as a clothing seller? Crowdsource your ideas. Go ahead and put it out there. Go to our Facebook group would be brilliant for that. Thank you for that idea, Karen. Go to Facebook group Top Rated Seller Webinars and say, hey, I sell this. Help me get some ideas on what boards to put out there on my Pinterest page. I know people would love to do it, and you're getting a lot of ideas instead of just one person's.
There you go.
All right, and this is one of my last questions and now I got to find it again. I've lost it.
Well, wait a minute, because Shelley tells us that there actually is a line in the tax form for bartering. Assign a fair market value for your service or product. Barter is taxable. Boo!
Oh, I'm so sorry we mentioned it then.
You know what? Doing favors for friends are never taxable.
Good point.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. Actually, I have two more questions. Any suggestions on how not to overload your pin to your Facebook friends with items for sale but still get the reach on Facebook? And this is from Russ.
So how to build Facebook reach. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that there's content there people are going to want to follow. So find, as we were just talking about, what do I share for a phone system, what do I share for jewelry? Go through that decision process for yourself. Come up with ideas. Ask friends, ask family, ask these Facebook groups. Come up with ideas on what can you share, and then just build around that. So use one of those free readers. Again, I like theoldreader.com. Feedly.com is also a great tool to follow blogs, so content is constantly coming in for you. You don't have to chase it down. And just, each morning just go share something, or on Saturday afternoon schedule your posts out for the week. Just keep a balance. Keep about 80% of it is other and 20% is your brand. Just a quick point on, you can't schedule Pinterest with anyone. Kat and I were talking about this just the other day. There's one service that will let you schedule Pinterest pins. They don't say who they are. They don't say where they're located. There's no contact information for them. You are giving a stranger on the internet access to your Pinterest account with no knowledge of who they are. I would run screaming from that opportunity with don't even go there.
You'll end up with the naked person posting eBay photos and the tea kettle pictures.
Possibly. No, it may be a reputable person, but we have no way of knowing that, and protect your business at all costs. It will eventually be available to schedule pins, but Pinterest has not released API, which is the tool developers use to make that happen. They eventually will, they just haven't at this time.
Okay, and the last question I see right now, I keep losing it. How about selling photos on Pinterest made by a professional photographer? Any ideas?
Yeah, you just have the pin up there. You would probably want to watermark the image so they're not just downloading and printing it themselves. And then just have it connect to wherever they can purchase the image.
Absolutely, great idea. All right, and as we go, Karen, if you finish the questions, please remember you can find Social Sandy on Facebook. You have your Facebook link on here, Sandy? There you go. Facebook.com, Social Sandy. I'm sure she'd be happy to answer questions there. Obviously, you need to follow her on Pinterest and Twitter and check out her blog where she'll announce her new best-selling book coming out soon. Haha.
Yeah, just as soon as I write it.
Exactly. Y'all keep on her. We need that book. Also, there's actually is a free program. They're asking about programs to do watermarks, and Picasa will do a watermark, won't it, Sandy?
I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay. So again, stay in touch with Social Sandy. Stay in touch with us, Top Rated Seller Webinars. We have a great Facebook group. All the questions that we didn't get to, or the ones you felt like we didn't get a good enough answer, or you want more input, please post them on our Facebook group. Facebook groups, Top Rated Seller Webinars. And again, all of you people here, all hundreds of you who are interested in social selling, you should be signed up for the Social Beacon beta test. That's socialbeacon.com. There are about 100 spots left. Get over there. We want to fill that up and get this program going. It'll make a change in your social media. I think that's all. Karen and Sandy, anything else you wanted to cover?
No, just everybody have a great week. Thank you for your time, and keep on pinning.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.